3-game series right now on Root Sports.
The Pirates had a winning record on the road trip, but it's good to be home here tonight as the Pirates begin a homestand here this evening at PNC Park against the Tampa Bay Rays. And a little bit of a change as well for the Pirates lineup here tonight. As you'll see in that number 3 spot, Andrew McCutchen is moved back up in the batting order. And welcome into the booth. Joe Block and Bob Walk with you here this evening, and that is big news because Andrew McCutchen has done so well in that 6th spot. But you know, one of baseball's best hitters over the last month really does need to be batting atop the order, and Clint Hurdle put him up there here tonight.
Well, there's something that I remember him doing all the time. When he was back winning MVPs, and that was he would go through a month and hit 400 and really rip the cover off the ball. Well, that's what he has done over the last month. Maybe not 400, but 380 is not too bad. And also, it's been doing a lot of damage with home runs, 24 RBIs. Look at the oops number, up over 1,100. He is just fantastic. If you notice the picture of him right there, he was looking out toward right center as he was in his follow-through. That's the main reason why he's hitting so well. He's using all fields and driving the ball hard the other way.
So McCutchen is in the 3 spot. Gregory Polanco, who had occupied that spot before, now moves down into the order. He'll be batting in the 6th spot tonight, and maybe this will try to get him going.
Well, when the season started, it was said that he was trying to lift the ball a little too often. He was trying to kind of be that home run guy, trying to get the ball over the fence all the time. And his swing has really just gotten a little long, a little loopy. They're trying to shorten that up now.
He's been working hard to try to right things, and the Pirates begin the homestand here tonight with Trevor Williams on the mound. The Tampa Bay Rays, their first visit here in 9 years. It's the Bucks and the Rays coming up next right here on Root Sports.
Root Sports is brought to you by Allegheny Health Network, the largest health system rated #1 in the region for all the things that matter most. And by Kenny Ross Subaru, Total confidence pricing. Let's go Bucks!
Andrew McCutchen and the Pirates getting set for baseball here tonight. Pirates back home taking on the Rays tonight. Getting this 3-game set. There's Chris Archer, his World Baseball Classic teammate, part of the championship winning USA squadron. He'll be starting on Thursday for the Rays, one of baseball's good guys. And a gorgeous day. It's almost a little fall-like here today after the warmth that we had.
In the 60s, but that's fine. You take it. Not quite summer-like today, but it is gorgeous out.
And the Pirates in a good mood coming off that.
Looks like we might be bringing the pregame dance back.
Yeah.
Haven't seen that in a while.
A winning road trip.
Feel like it might be coming back.
And let's look at our Rivers Casino tips to win. What do you got tonight, Bob?
Head to the beach. What do you do when you're at the beach?
I burn.
You catch some rays.
Oh, okay.
Catch some rays. So I want us to catch everything. I want us to play good defense. Trevor, when he gets on a roll, pitches to contact. Let's not make any mistakes out there. Catch the rays, or catch what the rays hit. Shark attack. Remember the days when you had the shark tank out in the bullpen? It was automatic. You went out there with a lead in the 7th inning or on. We're going to win that ball game. Tonight will be the first night of getting back to the shark tank days. Sharks are going to do well.
I like that. Trevor Williams, see how far he can go tonight. He has been able to have some extended outings lately. There's the manager of the Rays, Kevin Cash, in town tonight. Rays' first visit here since '08. He's penned together these 9 tonight. Malik Smith, the speedster, atop the order with Corey Dickerson, the AL batting average leader. Evan Longoria, the longtime Ray. Then Logan Morrison. He's hot lately. He's got 22 home runs this year. Souza Jr. Ramos back in his 2nd game. Tim Beckham, the former #1 overall pick, at Danny Echeverria in his Rays debut. And then Alex Cobb will bat.
Take a quick look at Trevor's numbers. The ERA has been high almost all year, but he has been chipping away at it, bringing it down. Hopefully that will continue. A better number to look at there is the opponent batting average, 265. That's not bad at all, especially for a starting pitcher. So things are coming in shape, rounding in shape for Trevor. He is on the right path and seems to be progressing nicely as the season has gone on.
Pitched into the 7th his last time around. The Honda defense behind him today. Josh Bell with that very good play late in the game on Sunday. David Freese on the opposite corner. Mercer and Harrison up the middle with Frazier, McCutchen, and Polanco in the outfield. Chris Stewart gets the nod here tonight behind the plate. And they're filing in this evening. Pirates back home for 6. It's the Rays and then the Giants. And the Rays coming in 2 games over 500. They've been a bit of a surprise in a good way for them. Just 3 games back in that rough and tumble American League East. And the former Brave Malik Smith umpiring crew. Ramon De Jesus, call-up umpire, working the plate tonight. John Tumpain at first. Paul Emmel, the crew chief, at second. Brian Onora out of Youngstown is the umpire at third tonight. Smith very fast and has been hitting with aplomb since being called back up.
Hitting with aplomb. Must not get a lot of exit velocity.
It's very ripe fruit.
But he is fast, as you said. Light speed.
Yeah, 1 out of 2 hasn't been. 68 degrees here tonight. He's playing even with the bag, so able to get to that one.
You see how quickly Freese got rid of that, even though he was playing shallow. You know, he had a ray of light going down the line.
Yeah, crisp and cool, but still some rays. 69 officially here, just a light breeze today, and just gorgeous. Not only outside the ballpark, but inside the ballpark. Matt Brown and crew, the grounds crew here, excellent. As always, manicuring this field and putting the Pirate P in the center.
Keystone Serif.
Yes.
Beat you to that.
The little part at the bottom of the P is the keystone for the Keystone State. Pirates have had that since the 40s. Corey Dickerson, the ex-Rocky, started the day leading the American League in batting average. This Rays team can hit. Adam Frazier has his second out. The Rays come in 8th best run scoring per game out of the 30 teams.
Good offense. Like a lot of teams nowadays, they rely a lot on the long ball to generate offense.
Yeah, second most home runs in all of baseball. Evan Longoria, longtime Ray.
One of the more famous Rays.
Yes. Thought it was interesting, you know, the Rays had not played here prior to today for 9 years, and Longoria was the only Ray that was on the team at that time. That was his rookie season, and the former Rookie of the Year with a 2-out single.
Didn't hit it very hard, but able to muscle it out there, just high enough to get it over Mercer's head.
Pretty much where he wanted it.
Yeah, it looked like got in about the label. That's why you didn't see it have much velocity or anything. Carry.
Aboard for Logan Morrison, a standout with the home run ball this year, 22.
Yeah, you would like to see him come up with nobody on base.
And
yeah, that'll work.
Yeah, right after that, right into the shift.
We've got 9 pitches.
That's a nice inning from Trevor Williams. Now the Bucks bats get going. And the Buccos coming to bat here tonight. Adam Frazier will lead things off. And the RAV4 lineup for the Pirates tonight. Glenn Hurdle has Frazier atop the order with Josh Harrison to follow. And then Andrew McCutchen moves up back to that 3 spot. Josh Bell will clean up for the 7th time. David Freese, interleague the last 2 years, hitting at .365. Polanco moves down to the 6th spot. Mercer 7th with Stewart and Williams the battery 8th and 9th.
Take a look at Cobb's numbers here, and weren't you telling me earlier? Now this number's not up there, but he's one of the slower workers.
That's what it says in the Rays notes.
In the league, so or in American League baseball for that matter. Have patience tonight against him. You know, don't get in a rush out there. You know, that's one of the things that guys that work a little slow, they'll do to you. You'll get anxious. My third tip for the game.
Oh yeah.
I think I'm going to do a tip like every game.
Try tips.
Every game.
Those are delicious.
Bonus tips tonight.
Big long line too. It's kind of a throwback delivery for Mr. Cobb. Now, the Pirates have not seen much of him during the regular year, but of course, when he's been healthy, these two teams meet up a lot in the spring.
That is a odd windup.
It's a windup.
Gets his leg out to the front and then hooks it back. See his knee kind of come back a little bit there.
Had Tommy John surgery just over 2 years ago. And in an effort to try to protect that arm a little bit, we're not seeing as many of that great changeup that he had and dominated with. More fastball, curveball from him. As a hitter, I wonder how that is. You need to see him probably a couple, 3 times, right? Before you can kind of figure out. There's a lot of stuff moving there. Longoria measures it up.
It's like when you see him start his windup, look out at something out there, count to 2, and then come back to him.
And here's the Rays defense. Adeiny Echeverria, just acquired from the Marlins. Now the shortstop of the Rays in his debut. Beckham, his double play partner. Longoria and Morrison on the corners. Dickerson, Smith, and Souza in the outfield. Wilson Ramos, just his second game as a Ray after missing the beginning of the year with an injury. So he's back too. Some new Rays. Josh Harrison. Find the seats. Good batting average all year. Sitting at .291 now with those 9 home runs. It's more than he hit the last 2 years combined. Thumb is healthy.
1001, 1002, 1003. So what you do as soon as he starts, start counting, look out at the WB Mason side. And when you get the 3, come back to him. That way you don't get distracted by all the movement. Start, stop. Yeah, a lot of hitters will do that anyway. They'll look away, they'll focus on something and come back to the pitcher.
Hitters count now. Shift on there with the second baseman playing up the middle. Now, Josh Harrison, the way that he's started off this season, we're almost halfway through now. You look at what he's done with the other National League second baseman, and you know, he could certainly be in the conversation for the All-Star game, and you have that opportunity to put him in there. Pirates.com/vote. Yeah, the All-Star game coming up in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think he's more than in the conversation. I would really love to see him get there. I think it's well deserved. And you know, I was telling some people this earlier today. Speaking about J-Hay and how he brings a lot more to the table than just his stat lines. Well, I think it's important to have a guy like that on the team. So much energy in the dugout. You know, we see him all the time, kind of instigating this, and you know, going around talking to everybody. I mean, you got to have somebody like that in that dugout that has that kind of energy. J-Hay more than fills that job for the Pirates.
Oh, why did Jim Leland want him for the World Baseball Classic team for the United States? I mean, it makes a lot of sense.
He's versatile. He'll do anything he can to win. I mean, how many times do you see guys hit the dirt to avoid a tag at first base on a wild throw?
Or hit a ball just off the ground. One-handed swing there. Longoria, though, in the right spot. And J-Hay always having fun.
That's how it gets ready for the game right there. But it gets everybody going. Look at Freese laughing.
You got to have fun playing this game.
And he does that stuff. It's in the clubhouse. It's everywhere. He wants to just talk baseball. So you see him like right now. What's he doing?
You know, here's what Cobb's doing. Now Andrew McCutchen back in that 3 spot.
I wonder if he was talking there about that windup. About how you got to really wait. Don't get, you know, you have that leg kick and everybody likes to get things timed to that windup. And then you see how there's kind of like some false dawns on that windup.
Just barely got underneath it. Souza takes care of that. And Alex Cobb, a 1-2-3 first. We're through 1 tonight. 0-0.
The Buccos and the Rays, Andrew McCutchen and the Pirates without a score thus far after an inning. I'm Robbie. It's Mikowski. Andrew McCutchen obviously moved back to the 3 spot after spending a month in the 6 spot. It was communication when he was originally moved to the 6 spot that led to him coming back right now tonight. Andrew McCutchen earlier discussed the move back.
He made that apparent a long time ago that when I'm ready to just let him know, and then I'll go back. So this was my decision. This is what I wanted to do, and I know that this helped the team.
And he was referring to, of course, his manager, Clint Hurdle. And it started yesterday. Andrew McCutchen sent a text message on the off day to the Pirates manager. Clint saw it, called Andrew. They had a nice discussion, and boom, here we are with Andrew McCutchen back in the 3 spot, Joe, hopefully performing the way he has the past month in that 6 hole.
Yeah, I mean, if he does anything like that, I mean, it can only spur the offense even more, which has been a plus lately. Right into the shift. Souza retired.
Realistically speaking, though, it's going to be tough for him to hit almost 400 for another month. If you look at what he's done for a month, there's going to be a little bit of a drop off just because of the nature of the game. Maybe he'll only hit 300 in this coming month. So, you know, I don't want people to point to that and say, oh, look, he's back in the 3rd spot now, and he's hitting 100 points lower than he did in the 6th spot.
And McCutchen filling that spot in the order that Clint Hurdle has had a hard time trying to fill. McCutchen in it originally, Polanco in it, a few other strays over time, but those 2 principals. It's been the least productive spot in the Pirates lineup this year. As Williams quickly has 5 outs on 12 pitches.
And it should be a very productive spot because you have Frazier and Jay hitting in front.
And Ramos is going to reach on catcher's interference. So no out recorded.
I didn't see anything there. Ramos definitely felt something. Now this might really see you.
If it did, he just
Did you see anything? I saw nothing.
Yeah, I didn't. It's not evident.
Wow. I did not see the glove move even a smidgen.
It goes down as an error on Stewart. Catcher's interference. Let's see if we can hear this. Now the strings of the glove don't count as part of the glove for outs or
well, it does
else.
have the little strings coming off the web. That had to be what it hit.
Yeah, and if that's the case, that doesn't count, but that's how it's ruled.
I mean, the glove did not move at all, and it didn't even look like the bat, like the head of the bat was next to the glove, like
right.
it missed it by an inch.
And of course the catcher Ramos knows something about that, so trying to point that out. That's all you need to do. Just get the double play ball and get out of it. Trevor Williams having himself a good couple of first innings here. The second minimum as well. Sunday when the Pirates take on the Giants at 1:35, and before the game you can enjoy the Family Fun Zone on Federal Street, and all kids 14 and younger taking home a replica alternate Jameson Tyone jersey. After the game, all kids 14 and younger can run the bases. For tickets, go to pirates.com/kidsdays. Order now. Yeah, bring your glove, come on out, run around the bases after. Have a good old day at the ball yard. A lot of kids already here tonight. School's out, and for them, no school yet. Jameson Tyone. That'll be a cool keepsake for folks. He's going to pitch the finale of this series on Thursday.
Tyone Archer.
That'll be fun. Josh Bell in the cleanup spot, as he has been 6 other times this year. And Echeverria in his first game with the Rays, and Bell called out. Now that was a very close play, so the Pirates will consider challenging that.
In the eye test, just watching it live, I thought they had him.
Echeverria, a very good defensive shortstop. Even a 2-hop throw.
2-hopper. It's close.
Let's see.
He's out.
Yeah, he's out. Wow. And the Pirates will not challenge. That was a very good play by Echeverria. Welcome to the club. Just traded for him from the Marlins, activated from the disabled list today. And the Rays very much in contention, trying to add to the ball club. Now David Freese down to the 5 spot. Was slugging .324 as the number 4 hitter. In on his hands. And 5 up and 5 down for Alex Cobb.
Yeah, both these pitchers early on are not only getting outs, but doing it fairly quickly. Being efficient.
I can't blame Cobb. The last couple of starts, he's needed more than 110 pitches in each of his outings. It's the first time that had happened to him in his career. So maybe trying to move through things a little quicker this time.
Maybe not quicker, but fewer pitches.
Right.
Still taking his time. Just fine.
Now Gregory Polanco down in the 6th spot tonight. First time that he's been down there this year. He's been batting either 3rd or 4th. But with those numbers, well, maybe a chance to kind of get him going in a spot in the bottom half of the order. Morrison. 6-pitch inning for Alex Cobb. We're already through 2. Trevor Williams quickly back out there. Here tonight from PNC Park. And a look at our Allegheny Health Network injury update. And the Rays traded for Matt Duffy last year to be their everyday shortstop, but it hasn't worked out as he spent the entire year on the disabled list with an injured Achilles tendon, and just underwent another procedure this past week. But yesterday's trade to acquire Adeiny Echeverria probably speaks to what the Rays think of Duffy's health. Rays have got 12 guys on the disabled list right now. And they just acquired Echeverria yesterday from the Marlins for a couple of minor leaguers. So he stays in state. And Echeverria has not played since May 9th. He had a left oblique strain. Echeverria acquired for Braxton Lee and Ethan Clark, a couple of minor league players, and had a decent start with Miami in those 20 games, but has not played in about 7 weeks.
Getting traded over there is like going from the 3 spot to the 6 spot. You know, Miami, there's a lot of pressure there. It's a fast-paced area to live. Tampa Bay area, St. Pete's a little more laid back. You know, there's no pressure. It's like hitting 6th.
And McCutchen makes the catch. So leadoff man retired here for Williams. And for the Rays, yeah, 12 men on the DL, and Kevin Kiermaier right there. One of the best center fielders, if not the best, in baseball right now. Got a hairline fracture in his right hip, and they're hoping maybe to get him back in August. One of the key guys for Kevin Cash, as the Rays only 3 games back entering play today, so they're still doing it without a lot of their regulars.
Part of the game, and teams cannot use that as an excuse ever, because all teams have to deal something with the injury problem. Everybody has it. So Tampa not using anything as an excuse. They're playing well, even with that long disabled list.
Alex Cobb in the National League ballpark gets the bat. 071 career hitter. And when the interleague play starts coming up for AL teams, they'll have their pitchers have some batting practice a little bit before the series. Rays did that as well. But typically they won't take batting practice very much throughout the year. DH used. And as you can see, not a lot of experience for Cobb.
Batting practice pitchers don't throw 95.
And Zambelli fireworks are lighting up the night on Friday when the Pirates host the Giants at 7:05. It's all thanks to the Western PA Honda dealers. Come to PNC Park early for a barrel block party on Federal Street featuring alumni autographs and the Leinenkugel Bar. Just learn to read. Go to pirates.com/fireworks for your tickets. Out of the way of that. Williams, another quick inning. 11 pitch inning there, and 27 through 3 for Mr. Williams. Having his bat broken on that last play to end the top of the third, and the thing that didn't strike Mr. Williams. Look at that on our
right off the end of the bat, and the maple, I'm guessing, came apart.
Yeah, Williams getting out of the way. Good look on our Allegheny Health Network Supermo, and
checking out the scouting report. Where do I play this guy?
Or ordering new bats or something. Maybe pamphlet.
That's all online nowadays.
Oh, okay.
No paper.
Oh, okay.
No paper. That's old fashioned.
So Jordy Mercer will start the bottom of the third. Both pitchers.
See, I think they should make a glove that has some kind of a smart device with a screen on the back of your glove. You can have all that information right there.
That's a really good idea.
Yeah. Then you don't have to carry that. You just look at the back of your glove. Because right there.
That area is about the size of a small smartphone.
Yeah.
Well,
like a BlackBerry, an old BlackBerry screen.
Yeah. Have to be bendable though.
They have that technology nowadays.
Yeah. Mercer jersey, why not? He's been one of the better hitters really for more than a month now. 6th best in baseball over the last 5 weeks or so. .358 batting average since May 22nd.
And not far off those really strong numbers we were talking about with McCutchen.
Those guys are 6th and 7th respectively over the last 5 weeks in batting average in all of baseball.
And Mercer got moved up too. We talked. Moved into the 7th spot.
McCutchen in that 3 spot tonight. Yeah, Mercer's been hitting for some power too. So here Echeverria able to take care of him. 7 up and 7 down for Cobb, who has really been pitching better as of late. Had a rough start against Seattle earlier in the month, but since then last 3 starts of an ERA around 2. And maybe starting to get that arm strength back to where he wants. He's got his smart device too. Speaking of smart hitting, Chris Stewart. Checking in at 204. Getting some regular work with Francisco Cervelli still on the DL. Hurdle saying today that Cervelli may rejoin the team soon, and doesn't mean he's necessarily ready for action, but might be coming back in Elias Diaz right now. He and Stewart splitting the catching duties as Jacob Stallings was optioned and Antonio Bastardo was activated today, so he's a part of that 8-man bullpen for Clint Hurdle.
Eight-man pen. It's a big bullpen.
Hurdle saying, you know, hey, the way that the bullpen has been,
it's a lot of bowls.
Another option can't hurt. Just missed a spot.
The other side of that coin is you only have a 4-man bench.
By a pixel on our WB Mason strike zone. Ramon De Jesus umpiring tonight. Right on it.
Slip a sheet of copy paper in between that and strike zone. That one was there.
He brought that in by that red yarn. Just enough. And that's the first strikeout.
Stewart didn't like that call, but looked pretty good.
First 8 down in order for Cobb. Trevor Williams bidding for his first major league hit. 16 at bats this year, 1 last year. How long did it take you to get your first one?
I think it was my second game.
Yeah.
I think.
So that didn't weigh on you too much, right?
No, I knew that I was going to be a great hitter. So. Adam just made a good, our producer just made a good point.
Yeah.
I didn't last long enough in my first game to get it.
Parrots trying to call that up. Figure out all the stats.
That doesn't have Steve on there anymore. So yeah, just a bigger version of Steve's phone.
I think Steve updated. Got a Palm Pilot now. Well, Williams working the count. Pirates like to think if a pitcher sees 5 pitches, that's successful at bat.
I never thought that.
Tires out the opposing pitcher in theory, but Cobb's still only at 35 pitches through 3.
Played against the Pirates a bunch when he was a member of the Colorado Rockies, and we take you back now to August 9th of 2013, and it was Josh Harrison playing a game at Coors Field, and look at this. It was when he made his only pitching appearance of his career to date. It was at Coors Field in Denver, and he faced one batter. That batter was Corey Dickerson. Now, Jay told me he's always wanted to throw a knuckleball in a big league game, but he inherited some runners on base, and he didn't want to drive up the previous pitcher's ERA. So Hurdle said, hey, look, just keep the ball down. But the problem with Dickerson, he's a really good low ball hitter. So J.A. said, hey, I just let it rip. And Dickerson, as you see, did fly out to left field. But J.A. was very quick to point out that the out, Joe, came on a 1-2 count. He almost had a perfect strikeout rate in his pitching career at the hands of Corey Dickerson.
Well, hopefully he doesn't get in there again anytime soon. But Clint Hurdle's got some options down there tonight. That's a fun fact. I didn't know that. Good digging there by Robbie, per usual. He's been a tough guy to get out now. I don't know if a position player would get him out. Hitting .330 coming into tonight. Rays have the only hit so far. Williams has needed 27 pitches to get through 9 outs.
Yeah, both these pitchers just filling up the strike zone, getting outs.
Always good numbers against the Pirates for Dickerson.
With a good fastball command that Williams has shown on these first 2 pitches to jump out ahead 0-2. Put one right on the outside corner, and now they want Stewart wants one upstairs in. Boom, there it is. Following the glove around. Fastball command, foundation of everything else you do.
Williams has only allowed a couple of home runs over his last 7 starts. Those all came in 1 start. Both Ray Searage got to be happy is seeing the progress. Only his 11th major league start, but Williams working to the 7th his last time around. Consistently, you know, those last 4 or 5 starts, you know, 6 innings is pretty reasonable. And the way that he's pitching so far this first time around, if he can keep this up, 7 would be very reasonable, if not more. So
that ball still good?
it's the kind of stuff that you see true growth from Williams. So here now is work the count full after being ahead 0-2. Still 3-2 on Corey Dickerson. 17 home runs. They got a lot of dangerous guys in this lineup. Caught a piece of Stewart.
Got him on a throwing hand. No, that hit his left forearm, I think.
Came back and I think it skimmed. Yeah, the forearm there. Williams trying to give him some time before returning to the mound. Diaz knows how that feels. He took one really hard off his left knee on Sunday. Feels better today, though. Just through that hole, and Dickerson is aboard. Well, an 8-pitch at bat to start things. Look at our Barrel Automotive League leaders for tonight. The teams that have walked the fewest batters per game. And the Pirates second fewest in the National League. Most of the guys have been good at not issuing that free pass.
Now Ray Searage, I'm sure very proud of that. That's the main thing I think that he preaches. He's throwing strikes and doing it early in the count.
One of the better ones there with Garrett Cole. Longoria has the other Rays hit. That was also a single. That 8-pitch at bat to Dickerson leading off the inning. Williams threw 9, 7, and 11 pitches in those first 3 innings. So it's almost as long as he'd been averaging for an entire inning so far. He's got one double play behind him already tonight. And Longoria has bounced into 11 double plays this year. It's a high number.
I wonder if Trevor Williams went the first on his own that time. After this pitch, I'll tell you why I think that happened. The sign or the target that Stewart was giving him was for a high fastball. He was holding way up high. If he knows that he's just given a pickoff throw, he wants everyone to think he's going to throw a breaking ball. And if the hitter sees him tapping on the ground, he might think, okay, I'm going to run now. He's going to throw a breaking ball, tapping on the ground. Last thing he wants to run on is a high fastball. So if he looks in and sees a high fastball target, even if he wanted to run, he wouldn't be. So if you just put on a pickoff throw, I don't think you give a high fastball target. Good. Williams did that on his own. Most of the time nowadays, guys are kind of controlled in that manner. Especially right-hand pitchers, they're told when to throw over.
Williams comes back and strikes out Longoria.
I'm shaking his head.
Second strikeout for Williams.
A changeup, maybe?
That's what I was thinking. But usually,
really not much sideways movement on
Yeah.
it. It kind of just went in and fell out of the strike zone, like you'd see from a changeup.
Logan Morrison.
I'm thinking change it.
That's what they got on the pitch cast. So it had that kind of action to it. Another one thing that
I don't always agree with the computer, but we did there.
Yeah.
Good job, computer.
Not 100% accurate, but they try.
You should name the computer.
It's pitch cast.
Yeah, but he does
Like
so many
Ray
more
or
things.
something? You
Yeah,
just want to name it Ray?
He does all kinds of things.
Oh.
He's
Statcast?
he tells you how fast the runners are running. He tells you how fast the ball is spinning. He tells you how fast the ball is leaving the bat, the angle it's leaving the bat.
Like IBM has Watson.
Yeah, we got to give it. It's got to have a better name.
Now that one's going to find a hole too. Slowly hit, but just in the right spot, and the Rays have men at the corners.
Do you think that they're? We'll watch this on replay. I'm wondering if Mercer should have went for that ball. See where he's playing?
Mercer's up the middle.
Well, they were playing a shift.
Now, if he does that, you give up second base. But like you said, it's better to keep the ball in the infield.
Well, Freese could go to second base. He's
True.
playing shortstop.
True, right?
I don't know if he could have got the ball at all, but
It wasn't hard hit, but
Yeah.
it was kind of in that right spot.
it's two balls that have gone through that same spot with a shift on. It just doesn't happen very often. And that ground ball, kind of right over the edge of the mound to the pole side, that's the hit that you're supposed to take away.
And called out there on a close play at second. Dickerson is in. And either way, the Rays have an early lead. Not a lot of hard hit stuff off Williams.
No, we've had 3 ground balls this inning, and they got to run.
Now, this is a close play. Look on our Allegheny Health Network Supermo. It doesn't tell you, but I thought live Morrison was safe. Let's see. Ooh,
He's out.
that was by the height of the cleats. Kevin Cash wants to challenge this play. So the Rays are challenging here in the 4th inning. Whether indeed it was a forced play or not. Either way, it's a run batted in. But if the Rays do get this call overturned, then they've got 2 on with 1
It's not going
out.
to be overturned.
I don't think so either. But
He's out.
they're going to go for it. I'm not sure what they're seeing. Once it's in the interior of the glove, and has.
Now I'm saying this because if they would have called him safe, then I think he's safe. They're not going to overturn that either.
Yeah.
This is one of those. It's just going to stand. There's nothing that is absolute about it. His foot's not on the bag yet. Look, there's a little ray of daylight, and the ball may be in the glove. Now it's touching, but the glove's touching too.
Yeah.
I don't think you can overturn it. It's my professional opinion as a baseball analyst.
Well, most of the time you're right, except for when you're not. So
This is a test for my analytical skills.
still out.
That's right.
Rays have been successful 44% of the time. Getting a call overturned prior to that.
And it should be, shouldn't it be like 80% of the time?
I would think.
Because you get to look at it to see if the guy's safe or out.
Call stands. So
Theoretically, you should never be wrong if you challenge. But I realize late in the game, sometimes 8th, 9th inning, Even though you know I probably am not going to get this, you might still challenge.
So it's a fielder's choice. Souza picks up his 49th run batted in. 1-0 Rays.
If you were making that call, would you have challenged that?
No. The call stands, by the way.
Right, yeah, it stands because there's nothing that's going to overturn the call. There was no definitive
or confirm
like, oh,
it,
look,
for that
yeah.
matter.
But the challenge, you're wanting it overturned. So you would only challenge something if you were convinced it will get overturned because the evidence is there to overturn it.
I mean, if you've got a folder and there's nothing inside that folder, no evidence.
Yeah.
Then
you got to have evidence.
You got to have. You can label the folder, but you've got to have evidence within the folder. Williams behind 2-0. Ramos reached on catcher's interference.
I saw no evidence of catcher's interference.
And a non-reviewable play call. So could not challenge that. Could argue it.
That's what I miss, the arguments. You know how I love to argue.
No, we do it all the time in a fun baseball way, you know, try to state our case. When you and Ray Surge talk, right? Sometimes.
No, I don't argue with
ball.
Ray.
Yeah.
I don't argue with him.
That will allow Souza to advance. And he's thinking third. And he'll move up on the error. Second error by the Pirates tonight.
This has not been really a good inning for the defense I was talking about that we need.
Deciding where to assign the error. It will be an error on the throw. Yeah, not a great throw. So Souza in scoring position with 2 away. He's missed with that sinker. The Riverboat Queen making her way toward the point. It's summertime in the Berg. Foul ball. There you go. Bring that glove. That's nice. A lot of patrons tonight. A little bit chilly night tonight to be out on the water, but still always beautiful to ride right into the sunset. Three-two. Well, Williams needing 27 pitches to get through the first 3 innings. And has needed nearly that many here in the 4th alone. 3 ground balls.
Defense, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
That's definitely a tip.
3 ground balls that have found seams. Now toward Polanco. And that's that in the Rays 4th. They get on the board first. A couple of singles. And Tampa leads 1-0.
It's time for the Toyota all-wheel drive RAV4th inning. Toyota, what drives you?
Talking shop.
Yeah, they're talking about those 2 ground balls that got through over there when they had the shift on, went through that hole, about who's got to go what direction. You saw Joey Cora there in that conversation, the infield coach.
Steven Souza.
He's got his BlackBerry, checking it out.
Yeah, brought home the only run of the game so far. Pirates looking for their first base runner. 9 up, 9 down for Alex Cobb. Now everyone gets a second look. Pressure fouled out first time around. Morrison able to hang with it.
That's one of the advantages of being a first baseman. You can kind of have a little fight with that ground ball and still get the out. He battled it. The baseball got a good punch in though first. Took a nice rib shot on that grounder.
Yeah, you're right at the bag, so just a foot race. Josh Harrison ripped a liner, but right at the third baseman Longoria. Cobb has been rolling, and not only tonight, but really lately. He had a poor start in Seattle at the beginning of this month, but since the beginning of May, otherwise, there's other 9 starts, an ERA about 2.7 prior to tonight. So getting that arm strength back from the Tommy John surgery he had a couple of years ago. He was one of baseball's better pitchers prior to that surgery. He's had to reinvent himself a little bit, really relying on that splitter before, and now more of a curveball pitcher for the secondary offering. There's the Pirates' first base runner tonight. 4-pitch walk. Hey, you're running out of time to vote for the Pirates into the 2017 Esurance MLB All-Star Game ballot. Just go to pirates.com/vote and you can catch all the excitement of the 88th Major League Baseball All-Star Game, presented by MasterCard, July 11th, live on Fox. It's 2 weeks away. Midsummer Classic. Vote soon. Time's running out. Andrew McCutchen making a late run. In the 3 spot tonight. Another byproduct of him moving back up in the order. We've seen a couple of times, you and I have talked, and you know, you get to that 9th inning, for instance, and maybe he's due up 5th in the inning instead of 2nd, or something like that. And you know, he might get, in some of those games, you might get that extra at bat, whether you're down a run, up a run. Sometimes, you know, that's a big reason why teams will have the best hitters early on in the order there.
And we talked earlier too about the opportunities, because you got Frazier and Harrison hitting in front, and they're both have very good on base percentages this year. So if you're hitting third in front of those 2 guys, you're going to have some base runners out there. So the 3rd spot should be a nice spot to hit. It is a nice spot to hit.
And the Pirates' productivity from that spot, though, hitting .203, though, all their number 3 hitters.
Yeah,
this year.
it's not the spot that's doing that. It's McCutchen started the season in a very big slump. He was trying to pull everything, pull. And then when he moved, Polanco went in there, and he is slumping also. So it's kind of who's been hitting there, not the number next to the spot. That's the difference. It's if you put somebody there that's hot and hitting well, you're going to get production from the number 3 spot. Simple as that.
That has been the least productive spot by a wide margin. for number 3 spots.
If Kutch would have went back 3 weeks ago into the number 3 spot,
we wouldn't be talking about it.
Yeah.
So it's bound to change. But moving down in the order, Kutch was saying just the other day, really had very little to do with his newfound success.
No,
his approach to the plate was so much more of that.
With everybody. I mean, I'm sure the rare exception, but with everybody, when you come out of a slump, it's all about you're fixing whatever mechanically you were doing wrong, and then that breeds confidence. And those two things get you back to where you can be, where you were.
And you know, one of the things that he's been doing is hitting the off-speed pitchers better.
Yeah, it's been great. In fact, this is the best he's ever hit him in his career. You look what he's done the last month, hitting 379 with OPS way up there, ground ball rate way down. When you're trying to hit fastballs to right center and the other direction, you're not going to be way out in front on the breaking ball. You're going to be right on time with a lot of off-speed stuff. How many curveballs, changeups did he pull foul first month and a half of the season? Tons of them.
And now he's hitting them off the wall or out of the ballpark.
Yeah, now they're just over on the fair side. He's pulling the slow stuff. He's pulling the fastballs that are inside. Stuff on the outside part of the plate, he's hitting hard the other way. It's not just a little flare to right either. He drives the ball over there pretty darn good. I mean, that's one of the things he used to do all the time, was hit home runs into those little stands out there in right center. It's kind of the small part of the bleachers.
Time underneath it.
Just got underneath that one a little bit. Not by much.
And Souza takes care of McCutchen for the second out. Let's go back to our studios and check in with Rob King, who's got a game break. Showed that he was a good player when we were in Milwaukee there. Pirates entering play tonight, 4th place, 5 back of Milwaukee. We've got VR back and Braun today. Josh Bell thrown out by a good play by Adeiny Echeverria back in the second. Pirates looking for their first hit.
Make it a long ball.
Bell tied with McCutchen for the team lead, 14. Bell on pace to maybe break some team rookie records, maybe even the all-time rookie switch hitter record in baseball. Or nearing the halfway point of the season, and he's on pace to do that.
An interesting discussion with Teague before the game, on the pregame, about what kind of hitter will Bell eventually end up being. Strictly power, strictly batting average, or a combination? I can see a pretty good combination from him.
And so far tonight, Tampa Bay leading. UPMC scoreboard. 1-0 Tampa Bay here in the homestand opener. And let's take a look at our Point Park tweets. James asked us, can the next Twitter Tuesday be Bob Walk? We have a lot of questions. And he doesn't get on Twitter. Well, let's do it tonight. Why not?
That's fine. Yeah, I'm game. Do whatever. Ask away.
All right, I like it. Hashtag Bucks Booth.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, just don't ask me my Twitter handle.
You don't have one.
Oh yeah, that's right.
You have one? Oh, you have a. I didn't even know that. Wow, a secret.
I might be a charter member and nobody even knows about it.
You can ask about cotton candy, for instance.
Why blue cotton candy is on my no-go list.
Yeah. Maybe what is your favorite dog?
Right now it's Sam.
Their favorite color of cotton candy? I learned that one the hard way last year.
No, that's not. That's the one that should be outlawed. The blue.
Yeah. Williams strikes out Beckham to start things.
Nice little pitching duel going here.
So many questions.
Oh yeah, could be a lot of questions.
Yeah. Send it in. Hashtag Bucks Booth. We've had Bob Walk stories. Now we'll have Bob Walk answers. Meanwhile, Williams gave up 2 ground singles that found holes in the 4th.
And they were like, we saw the discussion that went on. You get, ground balls into a shift. A lot of times you think, okay, that's going to be an out. And there was some question about who was covering what and why they weren't caught. So that even those 2 hits a little tainted. Now I'm not saying that they're balls that can't be a base hit, that somebody should have caught it. It's just that there was some question, obviously, even between the players about who should be covering what and who needs to go for that ball.
You'll take that every time, though. Weak ground ball.
Oh,
sure.
Yeah. That's what you're looking for.
Oh, those blue eyes. Yeah, bring your pup to the ballpark.
Is that an Australian Shepherd? That's what.
Wow. Wow. You know your stuff.
The original Sam.
Oh yeah.
Was an Australian
Sam.
Shepherd.
Sam I.
Sam #1 was an Australian Shepherd.
You know your stuff. Okay, I'm not as good at the breeds. Which one's that?
That is a Chihuahua.
Very good. You can tell them by the tutu that they wear. See?
Yeah,
Skirt or whatever that is.
People are always dressing their Chihuahuas. The brindle Chihuahua.
Trust Bob Walk. It's like a poodle. Alex Cobb.
Not sure what the fuzzy one. The one in the back, though, that was a Doberman.
Okay.
Kind of a long, skinny, short Doberman.
Oh, okay. Look at that pitch count tonight. 9, 7, 11, 24, and then the first 2 outs here in short order.
And should be able to put away Cobb, you would think.
Got that ringing in his hands.
American League pitcher.
The junior circuit for these newfangled Rays that were founded in 1998. No expansion in baseball over the last 2 decades.
It's time.
Rays and Diamondbacks, the last entries. You say yeah?
Yeah.
Well, Rob Manfred has said baseball is at least in the initial stages of considering it. Where do you want a team? Any preference? I'm for Montreal. I'm for Trevor Williams. How about striking out the side? And still 1-0 Rays.
is brought to you by the Chevy Colorado and your Western PA Chevy dealers. And by Day Automotive. We're going to make your day. Let's go Bucks!
And at the quarter mile, Pizza Penny was behind. Looked like she was being chased by a copper. But Penny gets the goal.
She's winning way too much for me.
Well, she's new and she's the leader right now. Wow. Let's go Pups. Now look at our Day Automotive this day in Pirates history. Back in '95, Pirates beating the Cubs 6-5 at Wrigley. Denny Nagel winning his 9th and providing the offense with a grand slam in the 6th inning. One of just 5 Pirates pitchers to hit a grand slam, also through 7 innings. And a memorable affair 22 years ago today.
Remember Danny Nagel took a long time to get, you're talking about first hits, took him a long time to get his first hit.
Pizza Penny. Everyone wants to be around a winner.
No, I'm not a fan of Pizza Penny.
Yeah?
No.
Just because she's new?
There's something fishy going on. I don't like the way she's winning all these races. Something fishy.
Maybe anchovies.
Could be.
David Freese trying to get the Pirates' first hit tonight off Alex Cobb. It is our impromptu Twitter Tuesday. Use hashtag Bucks Booth to ask questions for Bob. Who's the funniest teammate with whom you've ever played? Out to Souza for the first stop.
Well, right off the bat, I think it's weird because the first name that came to me was somebody we were just talking about, was Denny Nagel.
Really?
Denny was very good, especially once he kind of was around the team for a while and started feeling comfortable. He did all kinds of impressions and things like that. He actually went the extra mile to be funny. It wasn't like just a kind of a natural thing. One of the guys that I thought had a great sense of humor and was fun just to listen to his comments was Gary Reedus. He was the one that gave everybody nicknames and stuff. And also another guy that, because of the comments, he was constantly writing everybody all the time. And some of the stuff that he would say was just hilarious, was Neil Heaton. He was very, very good. He could cut you down, very sharp tongue, great wit in a second. And this guy is a teammate of mine, but nobody is as funny and to be around, whether you're out to dinner, playing golf, or anything, than Steve Blass. He is absolutely, as you know, hilarious.
I can attest to that.
So there's a quick rundown on a couple of names just right off the top of my head. But yeah, Blass, maybe not a baseball teammate, but he is a funny man. Always keeps us laughing.
And he's keeping Greg Brown and the radio audience laughing tonight. Oh, Jay wants to know here on Impromptu Twitter Tuesday, do you prefer doing radio or TV?
Well, it kind of depends on what mood I'm in, really.
Okay.
Like today, I had a couple of days off. I think, as you could tell, I'm really enjoying myself tonight. When you're in a mood to really be talkative and it's a good ball game, there's nothing better than being on TV. But to be honest with you, when I'm sitting over there, I can hide. I mean, you won't know I'm even in the booth at times. So radio can be kind of like a day off for a color man. The play-by-play guy has to do all the work all the time over on the radio.
I didn't realize that.
Oh, yeah, you did.
Hashtag Bucks Booth. Since Walkie's not on
If I'm
Twitter.
being lazy, I want to be on radio. If I'm actually wanting to take part in the broadcast, I want to be on TV.
Okay, I got you.
There you go.
All right.
Couple more poodles.
We'll figure this out.
They're sharp-nosed poodles.
Oh, okay. pup night here. Siberian Husky.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, very hairy though. Very long hair.
A long-haired Siberian.
Maybe has a
Husky.
little Malamute in her. Or in him. I don't know.
Now what is it? You show up at the ballpark, they give you a dog? Is that what's happening?
On pup night, you get it's kind of like it's a giveaway, kind of like a bobblehead.
No, you can bring them in, of course.
No, they give them away. You tell them what size you like. I think you have to do that when you buy your ticket.
I'd like a lap dog, please. Sure. Right here. Now, every Tuesday at home. There you go. Wow. Yeah. Dogs on dogs. Now that's cute.
That is. That's a dog's life right there.
Softly hit.
That's what I feel like when I'm on radio.
Well, Alex Cobb is not permitted a hit through 5 innings.
That's me on radio.
The Giants in a 405 game this Saturday, and the first 20,000 fans through the gates take home a Polanco El Cafe t-shirt thanks to Allegheny Health Network. Get your tickets now at pirates.com/free shirt Saturday.
El Cafe.
Quite the vantage point. 1-0 Tampa Bay as we start the 6th. Malik Smith, number 0 in your scorebooks, number 1 in the batting order. My favorite time of night here.
Some of those windows get a little shiny over there. Sun still out.
One of the longest days of the year. And one of the best days for Trevor Williams so far. How low can you go?
That one was a little bit on the low side.
Couple of bounce outs. A lot of balls on the ground tonight. Williams already with 5 strikeouts. Make it 6.
Oh, good little backdoor breaking ball. You don't really think of him as a strikeout pitcher, but he does. I mean, he's not a strikeout per inning guy, but he does get his share of strikeouts. That backdoor pitch, it starts off the plate a little bit away and then bends right over the outside corner. And then obviously it's an off-speed pitch too, so Smith's a little bit out in front.
Had a career high 7 strikeouts his last start. Corey Dickerson. It's the first base hit to the outfield for Tampa Bay.
They're ignoring our shift, aren't they?
Yeah. Come to think of it.
They are just. It's just. But the third hit through the shift.
Hitting the right spot again. So 4 hits for Tampa Bay, 2 for Dickerson. Baseball's hit leader, 101 now. Longoria had one back at the first. 4 singles. That's all Williams has given up. Those are the only 4 hits in the game, though, so far. Stewart kept it in front of him. Longoria now in his 10th season with the Rays.
They locked him up very early, didn't they? I think he got a multi-year contract in his first year, maybe even as a rookie, something like that. I mean, it was I remember it being big news when they did it.
Yeah.
A lot of teams were saying, "Why? What are they doing? Why do they have to do that?" Well, they knew what they were doing.
He surpassed 30 home runs.
They knew right
4
away
occasions.
that he was going to be one of their core players for a long time, and they wanted to get him locked up right away.
Hey, look at that. This is his 10th season. 25 home runs, 85 RBIs a year, and that doesn't include the rest of this season. So pretty good numbers. Signed through 2022. He'll be a Ray pretty much for life. You think about the added benefit too for in today's theory, a young franchise. Have someone that the fans can identify with is someone who has always been a Ray. Post Devil Rays, in fact.
He wasn't a Devil Ray?
I don't believe so. I think 07 is when they started that. There's only one way to find out, and that's to cheat. Devil Rays in 07, Rays in 08. And he was a rookie in 08. A pretty good year, right? You're rookie of the year. You go to the World Series your first year. Go to the All-Star game. And played here at PNC Park. That was the last time the Rays were here, was 2008. And in that game, Jose Bautista was the starting third baseman for the Pirates that day. In the last game that was played here. Almost 9 years ago to the day. Kevin Cash might have still been an active player at that time. And Tom Gorzolani started that game. Slowly hit. And they still turn 2. Trevor Williams having a ball game tonight. Now the Bucks need to get some runs for him. T-Mobile Unlimited baseball break, and some breaking news for Tampa Bay. The 4th overall pick of this draft has signed. Brendan McKay out of Blackhawk, signing for $7 million and .007, so 7,000 for Louisville's all-time leader in strikeouts. He's going to be a two-way player to start, at least, so he'll pitch, he'll play first base, and Baseball America's National Player of the Year. So Western PA's own.
Congratulations. I mean, that's great. Being able to $7 million. That's just your bonus. You also, you know, once you get the rookie ball, you're going to add in another, what, $800 a month?
Yeah, that's why you need that bonus. So
yeah. No, but seriously, that's very good job.
Well, we've gotten here in the area now. What, first round pick 3 years in a row, I think. Hap, Kirilloff, and McKay now. So showing that the area is still very viable.
It is a very viable baseball area. Sports, period.
Alex Kirilloff from Plum, and then
a ton of good football and hockey players. It's just, oh, there's the pups. There they are. There's that Australian Shepherd.
See if there's a Wheaton Terrier in there. That's what we got at home.
A lot of good-looking puppies.
I'm going to bring Zuzu out to the ball yard on a Tuesday.
Really?
Yeah. That'll be fun.
Yeah, well. Bring her up to the booth. Say hi.
Yeah, well, why not?
Make sure you got one of the little blue plastic bags.
Yeah, yeah, just to make sure.
Never know. You know how to use those, don't you, Zach?
See if Chris Stewart can use some of this smart hitting against Alex Cobb. Pirates have been stymied through the first 5. You see that 0 in the H column. Tommy John surgery a couple years ago. Has been getting better and better this year after briefly appearing at the end of last year. He's allowed 1 base runner, a 1-out walk in the 4th to Josh Harrison.
No hitter, 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 no hitter. Okay, I've jinxed him as good as I can.
Next hitter is Trevor Williams.
He's throwing a no hitter so far.
Wouldn't that be?
Notice that?
Wouldn't it be great if Trevor Williams got his first big league hit to break
up a no hitter?
Yeah, in the 6th inning. Double clutch, but plenty of time. Let's check in on our Twitter Tuesday here. And hey, Bob, love that tie. Can I borrow it sometime from Tyler Graham?
Oh, Tyler, yes, of course. Does Tyler remember the first time he saw this tie?
I don't remember it. Yeah, he's not on the phone.
Oh, he's actually off today, and he's tweeting. Oh, okay.
And Williams bidding for one there.
Wow, did you call that, huh?
Just
can't do much more than that to break up the no-no. You hit a line drive right at somebody, though. Darn. I got this tie down in Florida.
Oh, is that?
You remember the first time I wore it? It was at the Root Sports meeting.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Those are always festive affairs.
A very festive affair. We tried this tie on that night.
Yeah. It looks better around your neck. Yeah, we have a little fun when we break in the new year. Adam Frazier getting to see Cobb for a 3rd time now. Trevor Williams has pitched great. He's on the wrong side of a 1-0 affair at the moment.
Come up there at a crucial point, lined out.
Jason Lewis, which play-by-play announcer do you like working with the most, Joe or Block?
Rob King.
Good answer. Good answer. No hitter through 6 for Alex Cobb. From 311 coming to Stage AE on July the 6th. Our beautiful images thanks to Allegheny Health Network Supermo. 1-0 Tampa Bay. Williams cruising into the 7th. Pirates, though, hitless so far through the first 6. Logan Morrison has one of the Rays' 4 singles. Harrison, a nice play from short right, and a good pick by Bell.
A couple of nice plays. Hey, a little short with that throw, put a little pressure on Bell. Bell come up with a nice one, man. That's a big out. You don't want that leadoff hitter to get on in this tight game here toward the end. Wow, that was not an easy pick either.
Thank you. He's pitched great, and Josh Harrison playing a little deeper that time to get a little bit more range. There's the shift with, as you've put it before, trips left, right?
Strong side shift.
Yeah. Souza drove in the lone run of the game on a fielder's choice in the 4th.
A lot of bugs out there.
I saw that.
Gnats that we've seen a couple of players having trouble with them. Montreal.
Wow,
that's where you want the new team, right?
Yeah.
Is that what you said?
Montreal. Pirates played a couple of exhibitions there this year. And Trevor Williams ties the career best with his 7th strikeout. He really can't be pitching any better.
No, he's doing an absolutely great job. Look at the location on that breaking ball. Just where you want it with 2 strikes. It's in that zone where it's not going to be bouncing out in front of the plate, where you're not going to get an offer. but it looks like it's going to hang right there at the knees. You're going to get some kind of a swing out of it.
Ramos deep to center, and McCutchen hauls it in.
Well, maybe that's the play that gets the offense. Sometimes a great play on defense gets that offense charged up. Maybe this will be it.
A leaping grab, and he'll be due up second in the center. Rays on the UPMC scoreboard, and Andrew McCutchen making a sensational grab to end that 6-pitch inning for Trevor Williams.
Thought for a moment that this ball had a chance to get out of here, but died at the warning track, and Kutch was there to make the play and get everybody to the bat rack.
Caught in his heel.
Heel of the glove.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stuck though.
Yes.
Go to the beach. Catch some rays.
And McCutchen due up second here in the bottom of the 7th. Williams has been fantastic tonight.
It's kind of a new trend in baseball. I don't know if you've noticed. Make a great play, you hit second the next inning.
Oh. Josh Harrison, the lone Pirate base runner. He walked in the 4th. Alex Cobb has no hit the Pirates through the first 6 innings tonight. And he walked Jay on 4 pitches. And behind 2-0 here. He's gotten ahead of hitters. Only at 73 pitches. And there it is. The first Pirates hit off the bat of Josh Harrison here in the 7th. Good to get that out of the way. Now let's get a lead.
He gets this hit. Hustles down to first. Takes a nice little bit of a turn.
And you see the look on Cobb's face. He knew it. Man, he says.
Did they? I think they were thinking about throwing behind him, and Jay Haig rightfully said, "Yeah, bring it on. Throw behind me. I'll jog on down to second." We saw somebody try that the other day to a young base runner, like a rookie, and I don't remember now what. I don't know if I was with you but it was from left field. Somebody threw all the way to left field to first base behind a runner, and I'm like,
the time that it takes to travel.
Jog to first or jog to second. Don't go back to first. They do something like that, and I think that's what Jay Hay was doing there. He's trying to bake them into throwing behind him so he could go to second.
And he is a threat to run over there. 9 steals and thrown out 4 times. McCutcheon tonight is flat out to right twice, once fair, once foul. Tying run on after the Pirates register their first hit of the night. And Cobb has a good move. He has picked off 4 base runners this year. Numbers on Harrison, 9 swipes.
Looked like Jay kept saying, watch him, watch him.
Cobb has only had to pitch to 2 batters with a man aboard tonight. So at this point in the game, is he not used to pitching on a slide step? He's been so used to the wind. Can that unravel a guy a little bit?
It's possible, yeah. I'm thinking that, you know, that's not something that happens all the time. It's more likely that if we get hits and runs off of him, it's for another reason.
Cobb at only 77 pitches.
I haven't been watching in between innings, but a lot of times you'll throw pitches from the stretch in between innings just to make sure you maintain that feel a little bit. Almost everybody throws at least 1 pitch from the stretch. Usually it's the last one as they throw it down.
And foul ball. Well, we won't see history tonight. Pirates get their first hit. Thank goodness for that. Now a chance to bring home that tying run. Cool and beautiful night here. Feels more like late September than late June tonight. Now the Pirates hope that if they're in contention at that time of year, nights like tonight when they get a great pitching effort, and they're facing one from Cobb, but Williams has been really good tonight. He's getting up 4 singles. I want to be able to cash these types of games in. And Juan Nicasio had a tough outing Sunday in St. Louis, but has been very reliable. Starting to loosen. High and foul. Well, Williams has only needed 81 pitches to get through 7 innings. So there's more left if Clint Hurdle wants to keep going. And his spot isn't due up until 8th in this inning. We'll have to see where the game stands.
How many pitches did you say he had?
81. That's it.
81.
Yeah.
Oh man, still got a quarter tank left.
Out to right. Base hit for McCutcheon. And Harrison puts on the brakes. And a good throw in by Souza. Back-to-back singles for the Buccos here in the 7th.
Line drive to right field by Kutch. A little dancing. There it is, fastball away. Don't try to pull it. You're going to hit a ground ball to third. You go out and try to hook that. Look at that. Ball's right over the top of home plate. Got deep in the strike zone. Line drive right center. Beautiful.
And so after not having a hit all night, McCutcheon.
There you go. Feeling good, right?
Well, he's certainly gotten his groove back, and Pirates now push that tying run into scoring position.
That little kind of edge of showmanship came back with Kutch. About 2 weeks ago, we kind of noticed, and you knew then, for him, that's you can see the self-confidence when you see little things like that. Remember the home run where he crossed home plate, gave kind of a little wiggle as he did it? That, I think, showed everybody my head is back where it needs to be.
It's great to see. And now Josh Bell, hitless in 2 trips tonight, 2 on, nobody out. Bell robbed of a hit on a very good play by Echeverria back in the second inning. Twilight.
Good time for somebody to lose a fly ball.
Base hit likely.
This is the kind of sky where if you take your eye off a fly ball, run to a spot, you look back up, you might not find it. Starting to get that little darker gray. Almost the same color as that baseball when it gets up there very high.
Weekly hit. And Bell narrowly thrown out. Thought maybe it would be softly hit enough to avoid 2. And now let's go back to Rob King. He'll check in with a game break. Well, that could help things out if the Pirates can win tonight. They could gain a game on Milwaukee. Here tonight, the Rays with a lone run. But the Pirates with their first hits of the night coming in this inning. Now Freese needs a 2-out base hit to score Harrison from third. He might be aggressive too. Cobb has that curveball, which he relies on quite a bit. That's the tying run. 84 feet away. Got the hop he wanted. And after 2 on and nobody out, the Rays get out of it unscathed and still lead 1-0.
Brought to you by Barrel. Our service centers are now open evenings and weekends. Visit barrelservice.com for more. And by Levin's, the official furniture and mattress supplier to the Pittsburgh Pirates. For the best quality, service, and value, shop Levin's. Let's go Bucks!
Oh, it's turning into a gorgeous night here in Pittsburgh, but Tampa Bay with a 1-0 lead as we begin the 8th. And the battery of the Rays, Cobb and Ramos, have shut out the Pirates over the first 7. That is a fair ball on a late call by Brian O'Nora. And it's going to be 2 bases for Tim Beckham. That's the first extra base hit of the game.
Fooled that fan. The fan thought it was foul. A breaking ball right over the top of the bag.
Only hits tonight have been singles prior to Beckham's leadoff double. We'll learn the rules. So Williams pitching into the 8th inning for the first time as a major leaguer after Beckham's 5th double. Facing the bottom of the order here with Echeverria in his Rays debut. Last time Williams pitched into the 8th inning was last July for Indy against the Charlotte Knights, and he won a 1-0 decision. The only run came on a Jose Osuna home run. That was the only hit, in fact, of that game. Tonight, similarly, he has not had a lot of offense behind him. High hop off of Freese's glove, and Beckham is going to score, and the Rays double their advantage here in the 8th. It's been that kind of night. Everything they've hit has just been out of the reach.
Yeah, they have got some balls through the infield tonight. This is just a high chopper. I don't know, did Freese maybe jump a little early for this? No.
Doesn't look like there's much he could have done. The only hit tonight that really wasn't by anybody was Dickerson's second
hit
single.
Third base. He got it. He got just barely the front edge.
And even though those balls just found holes, that's going to be it for Williams tonight. Best outing of his young career. Pitching into the 8th tonight with the Rays with a pair. Done for the night, and this was his best outing as a major leaguer.
Yeah, did a great job with the efficiency, and it's not easy to be efficient when you're striking a lot of guys out. So he really had a great game in that regard. Kept his pitch count very low, but still got a whole bunch of strikeouts. Fantastic game, and he gets knocked out in the 8th inning, really on a ground ball right over the bag, and then a high chopper that ends up going over Freese's head. So even into the 8th inning here, he's still making good pitches, getting soft contact.
And just no offense behind him tonight because Alex Cobb has been so good. He'll stay in the game and get a 3rd at bat. In the air, and Bell will get the out.
Definitely puts the American League teams at a disadvantage when they come into to play the National League, and their pitchers just aren't used to doing the little things that can help them win a game, and one of those is sacrifice bunting.
And so Echeverria scrambling back to first. That's the first out. And Nicasio trying to rebound after that tough outing Sunday night in St. Louis. Malik Smith 0 for 3. Trying to keep the deficit at 2.
Nicasio's numbers this year.
And that ERA at 3.16, still very good. But in the last 5 games, it's gone up almost 2 runs. It was in the low 1s. Smith is tough to double up, runs well. Rays with 6 hits tonight off Trevor Williams, 7 strikeouts for Williams, tying a career best. And pitched into the 8th inning for the first time. Just a shame that it's come on a night where the Rays starter, Alex Cobb, even better. Ooh, but Echeverria is back. Chris Stewart tried to catch him straight.
He's out. He's out. Hold up, hold up. Stop, stop. Don't do anything. Take a look at it. Challenge it.
Yeah, that foot
challenge it.
had popped off.
Right there, his foot's off and he's tagged. He's out. I don't think they are going to challenge it. You know what I should have done? I should have threw this ball on the field. That would have stopped play.
Yeah, then you could.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can't reach it anymore, though.
Yeah. Well, you would have ended up probably harming somebody, but then they would have picked it up and threw it.
I think
closer
I
to
could have cleared the netting. I think I could have done that.
Okay. The netting is about 5 feet in front of us.
The last time I threw something from the stands onto a baseball field, though, that night didn't end well. So
go ahead and
maybe
share.
Maybe it's a good thing. No, it's
okay.
all right.
That's one of the ones you don't share. Okay, got it. Antonio Bastardo rejoining the Pirates today. Activated from the disabled list after spending the full 30 days on a rehab assignment. Slowly hit, and Smith runs well. Beats out the relay.
Good effort, though. I mean, you'd see some guys just going to have to play that at second base like they're going to get one out. But Jay went ahead and made that throw.
Look at our Nissan road ahead. Blake Snell will be officially recalled tomorrow in search of his first win. He'll face Ivan Nova, and then a very good pitching matchup with Archer and Tyone, 2 of baseball's better young pitchers, in the finale Thursday night. Nissan road ahead. There's Mr. Nova, one of baseball's leaders in earned run average. Chris Archer, one of the top strikeout men. And Jamison Tyone in the center. Cool and Williams flanking him. Safe that time. And Tom Prince, bench coach, investigating. Did they get Malik Smith? They might have missed the tag.
They had him last time.
Let's see.
Nope, not this time.
An evasive slide. Smith is a speedster over there. In a very short time has swiped 9.
Well, that wasn't Smith last time. That was
Echeverria
that they had picked off. That's right.
I'm paying a lot of attention. Don't want to get him in scoring position even with 2 outs. Trying to keep this a 2-0 affair. Echeverria's run scoring single. Just over the leaping freeze. Ended up plating the second run. Dickerson with 2 of the Rays' 6 hits tonight. Has surpassed 100 now. 101 hits. 1 out of every 3 times. Decent lead for Smith at first. Nicasio came on, got Cobb to pop out trying to bunt. And the ground out on the fielder's choice. Smith reaching. Jammed him. I always say, right, the better hitters, you try to get inside on them.
When you get ahead in the count. It's a 3-0, 2-0 count. 3-1, 2-0, something like that. They're looking to pull a fastball. That's when you got to be careful inside.
Trevor Williams pitched great tonight. On the wrong side of the ledger, though. Nicasio now ahead. There goes Smith. It looks like Nicasio's trying to vary his times. Is that in an effort to hold the base runner?
Yeah, that's. Although I think Nicasio does it sometimes, and with nobody on base, try to mess up the hitter. He'll make him wait a long time. And then he'll quick pitch. You can see sometimes when Cervelli's catching, he'll actually hold his hand up like wait now. And that's with nobody on base.
Another close play. They're trying to disrupt the hitters, timing it. And the base runners. Look at our Allegheny Health Network Super Mo. His fingers getting in there. Got a tough hitter in Dickerson at the plate. Fast runner in Smith at first. Now 2-2. Smith running, pitch out, and he's a goner. Stewart nabs him, and that ends the inning. See if they can get some runs.
Cast is presented by the authority of the Pittsburgh Pirates and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Chris Stewart throwing out Malik Smith. That ended the top half of the 8th.
That wasn't the greatest pitch out in the world either. Rather high. Kind of a little bit of a challenge.
A throw right on the money.
Yep, good strong throw right there. Smith out easy.
And Gregory Polanco in that 6th spot tonight. He's the leadoff man here in the Pirates' 8th. They finally cracked the code on Cobb with consecutive singles to begin the 7th. The first 2 hits tonight, but nothing across. Now Cobb has gone over 110 pitches in each of his last 2 starts. First time that it had ever happened in consecutive starts in his career. And the way he's pitching tonight at 88, no more than 16 in any inning. 16 is about an average inning, so all below average or so. He has pitched 1 shutout in his career, but Pirates have 6 outs. Not only to break that up, they played at least a pair here. That is the 4th strikeout tonight for Cobb. And just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in the game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Now Jordy Mercer. He's 0 for 2 against Cobb.
Haven't been even a lot of real hard hit balls.
Closer Colomé and Tommy
really,
Hunter.
Nothing really you can hang your hat on except this one.
Out to left.
Not gonna, that's the first one that I think we have hit that's kind of maybe challenged that fence a little bit in the middle of the warning track.
Williams had a line out and Harrison lined out in the first, but nothing like
there
that.
was a couple of, you know, line drive base hits, but kind of almost through the infield type line drives. Nothing that would, you know, possibly be an extra base hit off the bat. That one there had a chance. Just ran out of gas.
So Chris Stewart, Glenn Hurdle saying today that he would be reluctant to use Elias Diaz to pinch hit for Stewart, because now with only 2 catchers, it would be Diaz in the game for the rest of the game, and then if anything happens to Diaz,
but I mean, that's no different than what it always is with Cervelli. When Cervelli is catching, or when it's Stewart Cervelli, when Stewart is hitting, it doesn't really make any difference.
John Jaso is on deck. He would bat for Nicasio. So Stewart bats here. Hitless in 2 trips tonight. Trying to get through against Alex Cobb. Trying to get aboard for Jaso. 3-1. Yeah, you bet he's taken. Pirates have only had 3 base runners against Cobb all night.
They had a good opportunity with the first and second, nobody out.
Now towards Souza. Inning ends. Pirates retired in order in the 8th. 9th coming up, still 2-0. Rays as they come to bat here in the 9th. Let's take a look at Instagram and Joe Beimel announcing his official retirement after 20 years of being in the game of baseball, including pitching for the New Britain Bees most recently in the Independent Atlantic League. Of course, came up with the Pirates in the early part of the century and also appeared in the 11th season.
Started out with Beimel on the bluff over Duquesne.
The St. Mary's product out of Duquesne, and number 97 hangs him up. Good long run. Age 40 now. So congratulations on your retirement, Joe. And here, some folks just getting started. Maybe the Pirates just getting started tonight. Late bloomers.
Well, Well, let's hope they still got 3 outs left to do something. Cobb looking on, no indication as to what they're going to do for their pitching in the 9th. There's Hudson's numbers on the year after 36 games.
Fouled away. Well, brilliant outing from Trevor Williams this evening. Very few hard hit balls off him, and 6 hits in his 7+. Oh, look at that. That's really nice. He made her day.
Oh, yeah. Look at the smile. Baseball does magic things, doesn't it? Just the gift of one of these little round balls. Pelota,
if you will. I didn't know you speak Spanish.
Fluently.
Oh. You always carry one of those, don't you?
There's always one sitting right here.
Oh.
See this? You know what this? It's a
circle changer.
No, it's where you throw a cambio.
Oh, I see. Okay. I don't know Spanish like you do.
I'm teaching you.
Oh.
All the Spanish I know, I'm going to give it to you. We're done now.
Okay. Oh, see, she's got.
I gave you both words.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. She's got maybe working on a 2-seam fastball there. Thinking about it.
Or a Joe Baver palm ball.
Look out in that dugout.
Peligro.
Danger. There's 3 words I know.
Those guys will help you out. Me, you, and Mike Gonzalez, the team interpreter. We'll go down. We'll have a lesson every day.
All right.
By the end of the year, we'll be a little better.
Our own private little Rosetta Stone.
Yeah. Foul ball. Dickerson was batting when Smith was thrown out trying to steal to end the 8th. Gets a fresh at bat. Chris Stewart threw him out. Alex Colomé, Rays closer. Wonder if he would come out or only if Cobb falters. Cobb's at 98 pitches. Certainly could keep going. Strikeout for Daniel Hudson. So 1 out in the Rays 9th.
What's tomorrow?
And the Bucks and the Rays tomorrow evening, as Ivan Nova will take the ball for the Buccos. The Rays will recall Blake Snell, the youngster, and our coverage begins at 6:30 with Pirates pregame presented by WB Mason. Ivan Nova having a great season. Evan Longoria is 1 for 3 tonight. Pirates will have up a pinch hitter, Frazier and Harrison, in the bottom of the 9th. First things first, trying to keep this at 2-0.
Colomé still standing out there on the mound. Makes me think that he'll be coming in this ball game.
He's got 20 saves.
Yep. He's still throwing a little bit.
Now, he's been pretty good. He was an all-star last year. Meanwhile, Hudson tasked with keeping it right here. Struck out Dickerson to start. And he's been getting to the point where you see a little bit of consistency from him, and then there's that one outing, and then there's some, all right, 4 or 5 good outings again, and then a timely home run or a ball to the wall, or untimely, I guess. And then you see the stuff like that.
Well, you can. We were talking about this before the game, about this bullpen and what it could be if everyone pitches to their baseball cards. I mean, it could definitely be a new Shark Tank.
That's what you were talking about.
It's second half of the season here to make that happen.
Ray Searage. Hudson signed to a 2-year deal this year as a free agent.
A lot of good numbers on the guys' stat lines from years past.
Broke his bat. Polanco making a headlong dive. And Chris Stewart got hit on the backswing on that, but Polanco gets the final out. And the Pirates will come up here in the bottom of the 9th, down 2. And the Pirates need a pair, down 2-0. And first, Chris Stewart. Watch on the backswing.
Got hit pretty good. Knocked his mask almost off.
Knocked him down.
Oh, you hear the sound. He took a good hit.
And then Polanco rounding his way to that one and getting the final out and making sure it stays at 2-0.
Boy, look at the focus in those eyes as he was going after that baseball.
And a series of changes here as Malik Smith has moved over to left field. Peter Borges, ex-Cardinal, now in center field. And the closer, Alex Colomé.
Colomé's numbers on the season: 20 saves and 23 chances.
And the pitching spot to lead off the 9th, so let's hope Chris Stewart is okay after that. Seems to be fine. John Jaso, the X-ray, pinch hitting.
Wear helmets. Take a hit. Keep on ticking.
As a pinch hitter, one of baseball's best over the last several seasons. This year, no exception. Facing Colomé for the first time. Pirates need a base runner to bring the tying run up. Jaso has had a number of clutch moments. He leads the team with 3 either go-ahead or tying RBI hits in the 9th or later, and has been hitting well since that date, May the 9th. 318 with extra base power. Nipping the outer edge.
Just barely, as you said, nipped that outside corner. Perfect pitch.
Trying to get something going, anything going. Just 2 singles tonight off Alex Cobb. Oh boy. That grazed the helmet, I believe, of Jaso. Well, that's one way to get on. Hopefully that's all that is. Let's look. Now, raising the back.
I think it hit his hair. I don't think it hit the helmet.
If there's anyone with some padding back there.
Yeah, I think that would have basically hit the back of his neck, but it got his hair.
It looked like Medusa. Well, now they've got their base runner. Down the line, curling and foul. Well, who would have thought that John Jaso growing out his hair could potentially win the Pirates a game?
Used it as a safety device.
And it worried me for a moment, considering his concussion past. As the Pirates with 40 hit by pitches now, tied for the most in the league.
That seems like an awful lot for him.
Almost half of them were Josh Harrison. 16 times. He will bat next.
Still have 3 months left in the season.
And he's on pace to break the Pirates all-time record, of course, held by Jason Kendall. First things first, Frazier. Good 2-strike hitter. Jaso started, and he is safe. Ooh. He read it, but it didn't get away far enough from Ramos. And remember, the Rays are out of challenges anyway.
He's safe. Well, when he was in danger there, he was in danger of coming off the bag.
Rays are out of challenges. They lost one earlier tonight. Tying run is up with nobody out here in the bottom of the 9th. Now toward the gap. Long run for Borges. And he cuts it down.
Man, that hung in the air a long time.
That split both defenders, but stayed up long enough for Borges to run it down. Just put him in the ball game for that reason.
And this ball, he's over in left center, and it split him, and it just seems to hang forever right there at the end. And Borges not only gets there, but man, he got there in plenty of time. It ended up being a kind of a routine catch.
Alex Cobb, who went the first 8. Sharing some secrets. Most of these guys have never faced Colomé. If it gets down to David Freese, he's homered off Colomé. Harrison, and then if it gets there, McCutchen. That blasted out to right. Souza can't get to this one. It's off the wall. Jaso being held up at third. He didn't pick up the sign in time and scrambles back. Runners in scoring position after the extra base hit by Josh Harrison.
Jay Hayes, we were talking earlier about him being an all-star, having an all-star season. It's more than just the numbers. It's when he gets the big hits. I mean, this is a time that you got to have that extra base hit, some way get into scoring position. He drives the ball off the right field fence.
Harrison and easily at second, but Jaso was held up and didn't pick up Joey Corey early enough. He was 30 feet down the line.
Well, his run means nothing. There is no reason to have him score there whatsoever. And we're really lucky that that was a poor throw to third base. A good throw, he would have been out.
Base hit can tie it now.
I mean, the run that means something is Kutch at second base.
We're talking
because if you knock Kutch in, well, Jaso has to score in front of him, so you don't take any chances with him. He's going to score anyway if you tie the game.
16th double.
As long as he doesn't make an out there.
And now McCutchen in that 3 spot tonight is up here in the 9th inning. With Harrison's speed at second, he could drive him in. And runners in scoring position, he's now the team leader at 302.
Yeah, not only the batting average popped up this last month, the RBIs came up.
11 for his last 24 with runners in scoring position. And ahead in the count. Six career game-winning home runs. Tied for the most in franchise history. How about lucky number 7? That'd be a thrilling way to start the homestand. Three and one. Josh Bell would bat next. On the ground and through. Jaso is in. Here comes Harrison with the tying run. And Andrew McCutchen comes through with a big hit in the 9th. And that's why he's in the 3 spot.
2 huge RBIs. Slider cutter, a little on the outside half the plate.
And the Rays were getting those kind of hits all night.
Yep. Just a ground ball, but right over the bag. So that's a double. And now, with the intentional walk to Bell, can Freese knock him in?
Cobb cannot factor in the decision.
Lost the no-hitter, lost the win.
Colomé has blown the save. Freese has homered off Colomé. In 2 at bats.
We'll just take a single.
Sure.
Outfield playing very shallow for Freese right now. They're trying to get themselves in position to have a play at the plate if there is a base hit.
The Pirates had 3 base runners in 8 innings against Alex Cobb. Colomé has allowed 4 here in the 9th. Well, the never say die Pirates in this improbable season where they are 6 games under 500 yet still sniffing a chance. Can they come all the way back and win here in the bottom of the 9th? They've tied it. Big rip by David Freese. McCutchen is the potential winning run at second. A home run earlier. 2-run double for McCutchen. Driving in the tying runs. And 2-2.
I'm not swinging that one. You got a 1-2 count on you, and somebody throws that little slider right there. That is a tough pitch to say no to.
It looks like a strike to the very end.
Yeah, out of the hand, that definitely looks like a strike. Good job picking up the spin or whatever and recognizing that was a breaking ball.
One career game-winning hit for David Freese in the regular season. Deep to right. McCutchen tagging, going. And he'll scoot to third with 2 outs. At least a productive out. And Gregory Polanco will be the Pirates' hope here in the 9th. Pirates did not even have a hit until the 7th inning tonight. They did not have a run until the 9th. And if they can have a lead tonight, they will win it. And for the first time tonight, we see Jim Hickey, the Rays' longtime pitching coach. Colomé, an all-star last year, has blown the save tonight. He's converted 20 already.
His 4th blown save.
And Felipe Rivero.
Hoping for a save. Well, wait, no. Sorry, that's the bottom of the 9th. There will be no save. He's hoping that he doesn't pitch tonight. That's what he's hoping.
Yes.
All he could get if it comes to this ball game would be a W.
He would be available for the 10th. Colomé's trying to get it there. McCutchen's trying to come home.
It's that gold sleeve, I'm telling you.
How's that outfield, Bob?
They're kind of surprisingly shallow, to be honest with you. I mean, Polanco is in a little bit of a slump, but he's got good power.
2 outs. And a good stop by Ramos in just his 2nd game back. Ramos had a torn ACL that ended his season prematurely last year and just came back. So any ball in the dirt. Harrison ripped a double earlier this inning. McCutchen drove him in. 90 feet away with 2 outs. Alex Cobb shut down the Pirates over 8. The Rays played it by the book, right in the closer. There's 3 on the right side there. Only the third baseman Longoria on the left side. 3-0.
I wonder if he hadn't Cobb, if he hadn't thrown all those pitches in his last 2 starts, if he would have been allowed to go out and try for the shutout in the 9th inning tonight.
I think that's very much the same thing. And now an intentional walk on Polanco. Now this is interesting because now with the bases loaded, I mean, if Mercer gets clipped with a pitch here,
Base on balls,
there's a little more peril involved. But I'd rather do that than throw Polanco a 3-0 pitch and then maybe a 3-1 pitch. Mercer with 4 career game-winning hits. A hit batter, a couple of doubles, and 2 intentional walks. Pirates have tied it with 2 across here in the 9th, looking to win it.
I don't really understand
that was probably in the strike zone.
The walking of Polanco.
I don't either.
Because the count doesn't make any difference in this situation here. Being 3-0, it's difference of 2-0 or 2-1 or 1-2 or whatever.
There's 2 outs.
You pitch however you want to pitch. Count makes no difference.
Lazy fly ball, and Smith collects the final out. So we will go to extra innings tonight as the Pirates, thanks to Andrew McCutchen in that 3 spot again, that 2-run double. A 2-2 game. Extra innings coming up.
Are presented by McDonald's. I'm loving it.
And so we'll have a 10th inning tonight thanks to Andrew McCutchen. Glenn Hurdle put him in the 3 spot tonight. He bats in the 9th and he comes through. Josh Harrison with that ripping double, scoring one of those runs. John Jaso got hit in the dreadlocks. He scored the other run. He'll stay in the game and he's at first base. And Felipe Rivero on for the 10th.
Phenomenal numbers for Felipe. We always point these out when it comes to the ball game. Great ERA. The opponent batting average maybe the best number up there. Just a $137. That's doing some good work. That's not even really that good of a hitting pitcher. 137.
Yeah, he makes the opponent's an average pitcher batting. Right. Alex Colome not able to convert the save tonight. Andrew McCutchen coming through with that 2-run double. And Souza with a base hit to start. Hit off Rivero.
Being aggressive with him going out. Maybe hunting fastball first pitch. Looked like it was pretty much in the middle of the plate.
The Rays are 4-3 in extra innings. The Pirates are 5-6. And Wilson Ramos 0 for 2 tonight. Rivero has been among baseball's best this season. Anybody with 20 innings in the National League, he has the 2nd lowest ERA. He has pitched as often as any pitcher in baseball. 39 ball games. And really that started the moment he joined the Pirates too. But has really turned it up a notch. I mean, the walks are down this year. That's the one difference. And when you've got to hit your way on against Rivero.
Well, anytime you see somebody come here from another team.
Souza's going to go to 3rd. And Frazier better track that down. He's being waved home. And the Rays are going to get a run on that. It'll be an error on David Freese. And Frazier had a little trouble with it down in that corner because I think he thought it was going to hit off the sidewalk.
He was playing for the bank shot, the rebound off that corner, and it didn't hit the corner. And when it didn't hit that corner, then he had to stop and actually kind of move over to the wall.
And Charlie Montoyo aggressive in sending Souza here. He read that play.
Well, when he saw it not hit the corner, I think that's when he knew that he could score him.
And Souza in, and just like that, the Rays have the lead in the 10th off Rivero.
Now that it's kind of far away, but that shot there, you could see Frazier have to change direction. The first replay, you really couldn't see it, but he was coming in and then had to peel back to his right to go get that baseball, and that is why Souza was given the green light to go ahead and score.
So a base hit.
That's a tough one down there when that corner comes out like that, because if you play it the other way, if you go to the wall and it does hit that corner and pop out, well, now Souza's going to score because of that. So you just have to take your best guess at what that ball's going to do.
Well, now it's up to Rivero here to get 3 outs at the bottom of the order with Beckham. Wilson Ramos, a very slow runner at second. Be tough to score on a routine base hit. So a single and an error here in the 10th. He's given the Rays the lead back. That was called a ball.
Don't know why, but it was.
He was very much in the strike zone at 99. Souza, that base hit on the first pitch. Setting things up. Looking ahead, the Pirates have Stewart, Duup, Jaso, and Frazier. Likely against Tommy Hunter, who has closed games in the past. Rivero's a little bit off here tonight.
Well, not. I mean, he threw. I looked up and it was 3-1. The strike zone had it 1-3.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
So I mean, he threw nothing but a whole ton of strikes and just walked the guy. And he had an error in a first pitch fastball. Somebody was hunting and punched a single to center.
So I'll take that back.
Well, no, I'm just saying it's. I guess by his standards that's bad, but I mean that base on balls, I'm putting that on the umpire.
Yeah, at least 2 of those pitches should have been called strikes. They were called balls, according to PitchCast. Bastardo was brought back today, and Marinas. We just don't want Rivero to have a long inning either, in case you need him tomorrow night with a lead. Echeverria in his Rays debut tonight had a RBI single in the 8th inning. That gave the Rays a 2-0 lead. The Pirates only had 2 hits until the 9th, and they scored twice to tie this thing. And the runners are going to move up. It's a wild pitch. There's still nobody out here in the 10th.
Rivero trying to go for a strikeout here with a back foot breaking ball. I almost wonder if that was a cross up. It looked like Stewart was kind of set up on the outside corner, didn't it? Like maybe he was expecting a fastball.
That negates a double play opportunity and field halfway. And because the runners move up, Ramos can move in, and a sac fly makes it 4-2. And Rivero has given up 2 runs here in the 10th.
It's just one of those deals where, you know, I don't think he's pitching poorly. An error, a walk that should have been a strikeout, not a walk. But the strike zone all of a sudden shrunk way down. And then he threw a back foot breaking ball on an 0-2 pitch that got by. Moved everybody up 90 feet. So then now you get a routine fly out, and that scores a run. He's definitely pitching with some bad luck at this point. Kind of a little test for him, though, to see how he reacts at some misfortune.
I've been very little of that this year.
Well, they're kind of off the end of the bat fly ball.
So the pinch hitter Plouffe.
And Frazier's going to have to go back and play left again.
You thought maybe that was the end of the inning. Beckham out there at second after he walked. Single error walk. Tommy Hunter, whose last save came 2 years ago with the Cubs, got 16 in his career. Alex Smith is 0 for 4. So the Pirates tie with 2 in the 9th. The Rays retake the lead here with 2 in the 10th off Rivero.
A little late.
Beckham stays put. By my calculations, these runs would be unearned to Rivero. And he keeps it at 2, but they're on the board. And now the Pirates need to repeat the same feat with 2 in the 10th.
so facts. Might as well just drown me out. Turn it up. I want it louder. Come on, let's just turn it up. I'm turning the count. Turn it up.
And music from the Rex, and Steven Souza tonight scoring that go-ahead run in that 2-run 10th inning. And wild pitch allowing Ramos to reach and move up to third and then score on the sac fly. So 1 run earned for Rivero. And Tommy Hunter asked to try to save it for the first time in 2 years. Elias Diaz will pinch hit for Stewart here to start the Pirates' 10th inning. Jaso due to follow, and then Adam Frazier here of the Pirates' 10th. They scored twice off Colome in the 9th. They'll need to do it again. Get this thing going.
You know, it's kind of odd that you lose this one 2-0. You kind of say, wow, man, that Cobb did a great job tonight. But now it's, if you lose 4-2, it feels like a very disappointing loss. It's still, they're still just losses. It doesn't make any difference. But one feels a lot different than the other one would. Now, we got 3 outs left. We can do something about it. But you can just kind of feel the letdown right now.
Well, Rivero has been so reliable. I mean, one of baseball's best. So
I've always been amazed about the swings back and forth on a close game of emotions when you're sitting in the dugout.
You still feel him up here a little bit.
Oh yeah, there's times where in the dugout you're like, oh, we're going to win this game. No, we're not. Oh, we're going to win this game. Oh, we're not. And depending on how the final score comes about, you kind of live with it. Easy to turn the page. Other times you're kind of walking back to that dugout or to the clubhouse with a bad feeling. And this one tonight would have a bad feeling, I think.
Well, you need a base runner to bring that tying run up, and Diaz striking out on that high fastball at 97.
But a lot of velocity and a good spot.
Hunter has bounced around quite a bit, but he has had success, especially in those years in Baltimore. And he's got the first 2 outs. The Pirates had 2 hits and just 3 base runners total in the first 8 innings off Alex Cobb tonight, who shut him down. Pirates with 5 base runners, scoring twice in the 9th off Alex Colome, the all-star closer from a year ago. Tommy Hunter facing Adam Frazier, the last hope for the Buccos here in the 10th. Down 2. Well, until you get that runner on, Hunter can be very aggressive. Smith had him played shallow, and that's that. So the Rays come back and retake a lead and hold on to it in 10 innings tonight. They win the opener of this homestand.
Hunter easily gets through the last inning and even kind of adds to that little feeling of a tough loss. There was so much enthusiasm and joy there in that bottom of the 9th inning.
Should not be overlooked. Trevor Williams, an outstanding outing tonight.
Yeah, good point. Outstanding start for Trevor. And, you know, good job for the guys in the 9th inning coming back against Colome, the closer, and tying this one up. But it's just a tough one to lose.
Pirates downed in the opener 4-2 in 10 innings. And let's go out to Robin Teague to talk about this one.
Joe and Bob, thanks very much. I think Bob brings up a good point that this is a tough one to lose. Tiki, you claw back in it. It's one thing if you say, hey, this guy had no-hit stuff. He almost no-hit us. We lost. Let's go get him tomorrow, boy. You tie it up. You make it a whole new ball game, and then unfortunately you fall flat.
And you tie it up the way the Pirates did in the bottom of the ninth inning, and you after everything has been kind of quiet and slow the entire night, all of a sudden you get it tied up, and then right away it turns around and goes back the other way.
Just like we promised earlier in the game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite, and a superb performance from Trevor Williams tonight.
Yeah, it is. Trevor was outstanding tonight. We talked all about him giving up fly balls and the Rays hitting home runs before the game. He was outstanding tonight. The sinker was good. A lot of balls on the ground. We didn't see that many balls hit in the air, and I only can remember one that was hit in the air, hit hard in the air. McCutchen caught it against the center field wall, but Trevor Williams, he's going to get overshadowed when you talk about this game by the work of Alex Cobb. But nonetheless, Trevor Williams had a great outing himself, going 7 innings tonight. That's another good mark for him. Another step forward in his progression as a starting pitcher for the Pirates.
Unfortunately, the Buccos lose in 10. Final score was 4-2. Coming up on Pirates postgame presented by the Allegheny Health Network, we'll be rejoined by Joe and Bob to look back at this disappointing loss. You're going to hear from manager Clint Hurdle and others. Plenty of analysis from Kent DeColvey as we look back at this game and more coming up next on Pirates postgame.